Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Tech It Out with Vista. My name is Bob Geyer. Today, our guest is Morgan Pimentel. Morgan's a assistive technology specialist with Vista Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired. And today, Morgan is going to share with us Google Gemini. And we've all been talking about all the different AI products over the past few months. And so today we're gonna learn about Google Gemini. So welcome, Morgan, and we're anxious to learn about Google Gemini.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. So Google Gemini, first off, I'm very excited to talk about this. I use Google Gemini every day for a variety of tasks. It's so helpful. And I'm going to talk today about what you can use Gemini on. And I'll let you know what I definitely know for sure, and what I don't know exactly for sure, but I've heard it's a possibility. So the first thing, and of course everything that you can do with Google Gemini. There's lots of things to talk about here, as Gemini is capable of a lot. Okay, so Gemini is another generative AI model, otherwise known as a large language model, and it is through Google. Google Gemini it's found on a lot of phones, including Google Pixel. That's one of the ones I know it's on for sure. I don't know if it is available on Samsung. So if anyone has a Samsung and is interested, I can inquire about that for you. It's also available on Windows. You can go to gemini.google.com. It's available on Mac. Again, you can go to gemini.google.com. And it is available on Chromebooks. Not only can you go to gemini.google.com on a Chromebook, but it's also in your little start menu. So it's kind of got its own little web app in there. Gemini there's several ways it works. You can, if you're using a Google Pixel, which is what I have, I'm going to just grab it 1 second. There we go. So Google Gemini, if you are using a Google Pixel, I'm just trying to unlock my phone. Sorry. You can hold down the power button and it will automatically bring up Gemini. This is going to sound very similar to the Google Assistant chime. And then you can, once you bring it up, it's automatically going to be recording, so you can ask your question, but you can also search for the microphone button, just swipe to it, and then you can stop recording or go to the keyboard and type in your question, whatever you would like to do. And then it brings your chat into view. Another thing you can do with Google Gemini is you can actually talk in live real time with it. So if you go through that same process and you hold down the power button, it's going to bring up a Gemini. It's at the bottom. It will say Gemini Live, and if you double tap that or tap that, it's going to basically launch the live version of Gemini. This is a feature where you can interrupt it. You can ask it to speak slower. You can ask it to repeat itself. It's very good, especially if you're trying to do things like maybe look up a recipe and you need it to repeat, or if you're working on something, if you're in school and you're working on maybe, I don't know, some study notes. So you can also use Gemini, not in the live version, but you can also use it just like you would use it as a Google Assistant. So for example, when I'm going home, I will use it and I will just hold the power button and I will say, direct me home, give me directions to my house. And sometimes I put in my address, but and then it just launches Google Maps. So that's very nice. Google Gemini can also describe pictures to you. This can be done by, you can share a link or you can upload a photo and you can ask it about different things in the photo. So that's nice. There's a few other nice little built-in features with Google Gemini on Google Pixel itself because it's obviously its brand. So for example, I don't know if anybody here is familiar with Copilot, but I've heard you can do the same thing with Copilot through Microsoft, where if you're looking at your emails, you can basically get a summary of your most important emails. You can have it help you find an email for you. So that's pretty handy. One of the biggest features that I particularly appreciate that has come with Google Gemini recently is the ability through TalkBack, which is the screen reader on Pixel for the blind and visually impaired, and other Android phones too, but primarily for this, we're talking about Pixel. You no longer need to upload a photo or use Be My AI, depending on what you're wanting to do, to get an image description of a photo. So for example, if I am looking at my photo library, I can just do a swipe up and right, which is called an L gesture, to bring up a context menu, like a little pop-up, and then swipe left until I hear describe image. I click that button, and then I wait just a second or two, and then boom, a fairly detailed description comes up on my phone of whatever photo I'm focused on. There's no sharing, there's no uploading. It's all done just right there. This is their online model. So it is using the cloud to do these image descriptions. You can also have this be a custom gesture on your phone, which is what I did. So instead of doing that L gesture where I swipe up and to the right and get into the menu and then have to swipe to find the describe image, I just have it set to where if I tap the screen twice with 3 fingers, do a double tap 3 times, it will automatically bring up the description for me and describe the photo. So that's pretty nice. So does anybody have any questions about generally just kind of what I've mentioned? Anything, need any clarifications on Gemini real fast before I get into demonstrating the features?
May I interrupt?
Yes.
Okay, so I just wanted to, I know you were wondering about Gemini and what other devices it's on. So it is on the Samsung Galaxy S22, 23, 24. And yeah, I just wanted to add that. And then how you said Copilot is on, it's on the Microsoft Edge browser, and it's also on Microsoft Office Suite products. So I just wanted to add those pieces. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Roberto. That's very helpful. Yes, so like Roberto said, okay, so Google Gemini is on quite a few new Samsung devices. That's fantastic to know. And then Copilot, which can do a lot of things, but through your Windows PC, is on Microsoft Office Suite and or the web, Microsoft Edge. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a couple of brief demos of what Gemini is capable of. And then we will take some questions. Let me put my phone on speaker. Okay, hang on. Can I still be heard from this distance?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay, great. Let me turn up my volume.
Play 4. Spoken language. Wallpaper. Punctuate. Speech rate. Speech rate 100. Phone. Email has 12 notifications.
Okay. So if I long press I'm going to long press my power button and it's going to bring up Google Gemini. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it a question. What is the tallest building in Paris?
The tallest building in Paris is the Eiffel Tower, standing at 330 meters, 1,083 feet. Listen.
What color is the Eiffel Tower? Oh, okay. So
Listen. Open Gemini.
as you saw, so I pressed the power button and I asked my question vocally and it came back with a verbal response in a text-to-speech voice. And then it did that as a little chime to let me know that it indicated that it stopped talking. That chime can be a little misleading sometimes when it's done talking because it sounds very similar to the chime when it's telling you that you can speak when you initially bring it up. So that's why sometimes I'm like, I asked a follow-up question and then I realized, oh wait, no, I have to press the mic button again.
And Morgan, if you could turn the volume up on your phone or put the phone closer to your microphone so we can
sure.
pick up the
Open Gemini app.
How's that?
That's better.
Accessibility volume set to 79.
Okay. Okay. Would it be helpful if I redid that? The question that I asked so everybody can hear?
Well, I'm sure you're going to ask other questions and demonstrate other ones, so I think it's okay to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. So that is the way that you can do the voice prompt. Now, once you're on the screen, if you want to ask another question and you want to do it by voice, you have to find the microphone button. So we're going to swipe left.
Listen, but open the top.
Sometimes you have to explore a little bit. It can be
image, Google, Google share off, copy text, actions off, ask Gemini, microphone, in microphone.
Okay.
Button.
So we have a microphone button, so I'm going to press it. What color is the Eiffel Tower?
The Eiffel Tower is painted in a color called Tower Brown. It's a shade of bronze with 3 different tones, getting lighter towards the top.
The other problem that is kind of annoying, as you guys see, is that when you do a verbal response like that, TalkBack will speak over it and say, item 2 of 2 or whatever. So if that really bothers you, I would recommend muting your TalkBack speech before you ask your question.
In microphone button.
With the mic. So for example, I'm going to do, these are custom gestures that I did on my phone. So for me, I'm going to just tap the phone once with 3 fingers.
Token feedback is off.
And that tells me that it's muted. What other buildings are in Paris?
Paris is home to many iconic structures, including the Louvre Museum, Notre Dame Cathedral, Arc de Triomphe, Sacré-Cœur Basilica, Palace of Versailles, Seine Riva. These are just a few of the many beautiful and historic buildings that can be found in Paris.
So as you saw with that example, what's really cool is, I do not speak French, so I'm not even going to attempt this, but it did kind of translate or go into a, speaking French for the names of some of those buildings. So it can actually speak and translate other languages. So that's really, really helpful. Okay, so that's how you can speak to it when you're just wanting to, talk to it generally. Again, and that's how you would ask for things like directions, making phone calls. I can even send text messages. So I'm going to try this one real fast. I'm going to, again, just double tap this microphone button. Text Ryan.
All right, what's the message?
This is just a test on Google Gemini, period.
I got it. This is just a test on Google Gemini. Ready to send it?
Yes. Okay. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't say message sent verbally. I wish it did. You have to use TalkBack and kind of explore or swipe, and then it will tell you message sent to whoever you send it to. it will tell you, what your message was. So again, I wish it actually would tell you verbally that it was sent, but that's okay.
Spoken feedback is on.
So I turned back on. Sorry?
I received it.
Nice. Yay. You also can have Gemini read your messages for you. Again, you can have it summarize your emails for you. That's really cool. And you can do that from within the Gmail app, or I believe even just here in Google Gemini, if you have, they're called extensions. So if you have that linked, then you can do that. And that's actually, so that's really helpful. You can also have it do calendar events for you, just like Google Assistant. Again, though, the way they work here is a little different because they're considered extensions or add-ons. So you kind of have to do a little extra setting up. Like, I don't have calendar set up on here yet. So that's something I actually need to do. Okay, let's go into Gemini Live real fast. So we're going to swipe right on our screen till we see Gemini Live.
Image open. Gemini. Oh, Gemini can make mistakes. So.
Oh wait, I need to. Okay.
Home. Photos.
Hang on. So I have to bring it back up because I was having a conversation with it. So now I have to bring it. I have to dismiss it and bring it back up using that long press on the power button to get to Gemini Live.
Open Gemini app. Ask keyboard. Mic. Image 6. Open Gemini.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. It's nice to chat. What's on your mind today?
I am doing a presentation all about Gemini.
Sounds interesting. Is there anything specific about Gemini you'd like to focus on?
Yes. Can you please explain how you're able to summarize emails and respond to text messages?
Okay, so I use a few different techniques to understand and respond to emails and text messages. First, I break down the text into smaller chunks, try to figure out the main point. Then, I use what I know about language and context to fill in any blanks that might be there. For summarizing emails, I focus on the most important parts, like the subject line, any requests, and any deadlines. And for text messages, I try to understand the tone and intent behind the message so I can respond.
Okay, that's great. But can you now tell me and my listeners what are the most 10 helpful ways that you can assist a blind person?
Okay, here are some ways I can help blind people. First, I can provide descriptions of what's happening around them so they can stay informed. For example, I can tell them if there's traffic or if there's something interesting happening nearby. Second, I can help them find their way around by giving directions or by describing landmarks. Third, I can help them stay organized by creating reminders, setting alarms, or adding events to their calendars. Fourth, I can help them find answers to questions they might have about the world around them. Fifth, I can help them stay connected with friends and family by sending messages or reading emails out loud to them. Sixth, I can help them learn new things by suggesting educational resources or summarizing articles. Seventh, I can help them with tasks like shopping or ordering food by providing information about products or placing orders on their behalf. And last, I can offer emotional support by listening when they need to talk or by suggesting coping strategies.
Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you. Can you give me a recipe for a bean burrito?
Got it? Do you want a classic bean burrito recipe or something a little more creative?
Let's try classic.
Okay, for a classic bean burrito, you'll want some cooked and seasoned pinto beans. You'll also need some warm tortillas, shredded cheese, diced onions, and some chopped tomatoes. If you want, you can add some sliced black olives or a dollop of sour cream too. To assemble, warm up a tortilla and add some beans. Top with cheese, onions, and tomatoes. Roll it up tight and enjoy.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Anytime. Let me know if you need anything else. Speech read. Phone.
Morgan, can I add something here?
So, I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just gonna say. So, as you guys probably noticed, like,
Absolutely.
unlike Alexa or Google Home or Siri, with ChatGPT or Gemini, what you can do is have a continuous conversation. You can interrupt it at any time, and you don't have to say, "Hey, stop." You just continue as she was doing, continue asking. So this is one like big benefit that I would use at work, and just continuously have a conversation with this thing and interrupt at any time. So I like that part.
Yeah, me too. I will say with Gemini, it took me a little bit to get used to the fact that when you're interrupting
it sounds like you're having.
Wait, go away. Go away.
At a glance.
Oh no.
Friday, November 1st.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with that. Is there anything else I can help you with?
One second, everybody.
On. Friday, app collapse. So applications are collapse button. Control the weather, but I reply. What collapse expanded. That applications are using speech rate 1. Speech collapse. What reply? Remote show bubble collapsed. Live with Gemini. And how collapsed? Dismiss.
Okay.
Oh.
So
read off.
That's the thing that took me a little bit to get used to with Gemini Live is that when you start to speak to interrupt it, it's going to continue on its previous, comment for a second, and then it will catch up to you and go on to actually what you were talking about. So in my example about, I believe first I asked how it can summarize emails, and it started to talk about that, and then I said, wait, tell me, what are the most 10 helpful ways you can assist someone who's blind. And I asked that question, but as I was asking that question, it continued to talk for a couple seconds, and then, it stopped and then gave me the new answer. So that's a little different than the way ChatGPT works. ChatGPT usually, once you start to interrupt it, it just pauses and waits for you to finish. So just something to keep in mind. Also, as you probably just saw, the other thing to keep in mind, I don't use Gemini Live that much. I do on occasion, but not super frequently. And so Google Gemini, you can't just go back to your home screen and then go about your day. It will continue listening to you, which is great if you're trying to multitask. But you do have to close it to get it to fully go away and stop responding. So the last thing I wanted to cover real fast
10:39 a.m.
is photo descriptions and how that works. So I'm going to unlock my phone again.
Home. Device on home. Drive. Home.
And what's really cool about these, I'm going to do this in a couple different ways. I'm going to look at just some general photos, and then I'm also going to show you how this makes sending messages even more accessible for us. Like if you're somebody you've always been interested in sending stickers and gifts and things like that might be found on social media that you previously couldn't do. With this feature, you can now. So that's amazing, and I've been having so much fun with it. So first we're going to look at photos. Oh, and you can have it, and it will do icons as well. So for example,
home, drive, Play Store.
So I'm on my Play Store icon right now. Now I haven't had vision in 14 years. So I have no idea what this actually looks like. So I'm going to do an L gesture. I'm going to swipe up and to the right.
Recent apps.
Oh, oops. Nope. Sorry, wrong one.
Calendar, Drive, Play Store. Talkback menu, Actions.
Okay.
Showing items.
Sorry, I meant down and to the right. And I'm going to find described image.
This action, describe image.
Okay, I tapped it. We're just going to wait.
Email, Play Store. Talkback, describe. Detected, image. Look, the image is the Google Play Store logo. It is a white circle with a green, blue, red, and yellow play button in the middle.
The words Play Store are below the circle in white text. The background is black. The logo signifies the Google Play Store, an online store for Android apps and other digital media. Close.
So it gave me a pretty good description of what that icon looks like. So that's really nice. Now we're going to go into my photo library real fast.
Drive. Play photos.
And let's see.
Search. Collections. Select. List. On this device. List. Places. Screenshots. Videos. Recently added. Archive. Lock. Photos. Memories. Select. Best photo. Lock. Art. Recent video. Screenshot. Place. List. List. Out. List. On. List. Post. Doll sale. Root. AI. YouTube. AI art. One item. AI. Order photo. Photo taken on November 20th, 2023, 1:50 a.m. Button.
Okay, so I don't know what this photo is.
Detected. Well, 5 white unicorns with bright, colorful manes and tails are running across a grassy field with a rainbow above them that says, "It will be okay." The background is blue with white clouds. The unicorns are running toward the right side of the image. The rainbow has a pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet patterns.
Okay.
Close.
So it was able to, so I found this album that I have in my photo library called AI Art. And I found a photo in there from last year. I didn't even remember it. I had no idea what it was, but it's actually, thanks to this image description, I now know that it is actually a picture that I drew using ChatGPT of some unicorns in a meadow. And I was able to just do this all on my phone. I didn't have to share anything. I didn't have to bring anything up. It was close to instantaneous. Not quite there yet, but close.
But close. Photos. Photos. Calendar.
Okay.
Live.
So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to quickly look into how to send stickers when in a text message, which is something that you couldn't, easily do before. So
That's home. Messages has.
Let's see. Hang on a second. Let me find Ryan.
That's one unread message from Emer. Sent to Rhea and Linda.
There we go.
Back.
Okay.
RCS message. Edit box.
Okay. So I explored to the RCS message area, aka the edit field. And now we're going to, I just kind of put my finger at the bottom of the screen and that's it brought it up. Since I know that that's where it's located. But now I don't know where stickers and all that are. So we're going to swipe right.
Show attach emoji and sticker screen. Button.
Show attach emoji and sticker screen. Okay, so it says sticker, so I'm pretty sure that's what I want. So we're going to tap it.
Recent. Hide attach emoji and sticker screen.
Okay, I brought up the recent.
1783.
So we're going to swipe right through here.
Show recent. Smiley people. Smiley the recent. Show record avoid recent. Show hide RC. Show back RC hide smart people. Anna food and drink. Selected. Show magic compose. Search emoji. Yes. Selected. Emoji. Photo emoji. So yes. Tab. So photo emoji. Search emoji. Selected. Smiley the selected. Yes. Tab. Stickers. Tab.
Okay, stickers. Here we go. I did a little bit of exploring and swiping to get here because it wasn't showing just by swiping.
Favorites. Selected.
So here we go.
Search stickers. Emoji. Kind of perfect lovers. Wiggly squiggly cuties. Showing item back. But emoji. Kind of perfect wiggly squiggle. Real feel. Kind of lethargic blip. All packs. Tap. Selected. Favorite. All pack. All pack. Emoji. Skeleton. Cute and lovely. Blue duck BBAB. So sticker. Van Vanden. Cat Moticon. Showing items 4 to 9. Rural life. Cat Moticon.
We'll do a cat.
Competitive versus sticker. Search stick of cat Moticon. Yet well relaxed sticker. Adore loving sticker. Yet good day smile sticker.
Okay. Good day smiles. That's what the sticker says. And I swiped to it once I clicked on the cat emoticon pack. But I don't actually know what that is. So I'm going to, again, do the gesture. I'm going to swipe down into the right to bring up that context menu.
Talkback menu. Describe image.
And it automatically brought me to the first option, which is describe image, which is what I want. So I'm going to double tap it.
Detected. Image. The image contains 2 cartoon cats. The cat on the left is white with a gray patch on its head and a gray tail. It is smiling with its tongue sticking out and its paws tucked into its chest. The cat on the right is light yellow with orange stripes on its tail and head. It is looking at the viewer with its paws tucked into its chest and has a small smile. The cats are sitting on a gray background.
Okay. That's pretty cute. I think that is the one I want. So I'm going to swipe right to close the description of this sticker.
Close. Messages. Good day smile sticker.
Okay, and it brought me right back to the sticker I was previously focused on, this talkback. So I'm gonna double tap it. Okay. Now it doesn't tell me that it actually selected it, but I heard the little noise from Android letting me know that I did press something. So I'm going to assume that it is selected, and I'm going to explore to the messages.
Search, show magic compose button. Show add text. Hide attach emoji and sticker script. Send encrypt. Hide attach emoji. Add text. Edit box.
Okay, so it says add text, and that tells me that yes, the sticker should be successful. So I'm going to just send the sticker. I'm not going to add a message or anything.
Hide. Send encrypted message button. Show attached content screen button.
Okay.
Message sent. Messages.
It says message sent. So now I can kind of go back through the message.
Show attach. You sent an image 10:47 a.m. Seen. End-to-end encrypted message.
Yep. It says I sent an image. And again, I can always do that same gesture to confirm that that's the image I wanted to send. If Ryan was to send me an image, I could do that same gesture or use the L gesture to get to the describe image in the context menu, and have a lot described. It really is an incredible, powerful tool. Some of the other. Oh, okay.
You are. AT and select white collapse. Rian Lin bullet. Now alerted unicorn.
He sent a unicorn. I love it.
Screen off.
So that was just an emoji that he sent. It was a unicorn because my phone actually said unicorn, and it's not going to do that. To my knowledge, is that correct, Ryan? Did you just send an emoji?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, great. Just wanted to make sure. So that's some of the really fun things that you can do with TalkBack's new describe image feature. There's also Pixel Studio on the Google Pixel 9s now, which is kind of like an artist canvas, so you can do a lot of things in there. But that's a completely, we need more time for that. Some of the other smaller things that I use Gemini with is math. I am not the greatest at math, like in my head, especially with larger numbers. So Gemini is really, really helpful with math. Another thing you can do with Gemini is you can create what's called gems. So you can have it really tailored to whatever task you need it to do. I actually have a mathematical gem where all it does is help me with math tasks, with calculations. And then, there's a game I really like with another AI that I play. So I'm going to be creating a gem specific for my character creations. Think kind of like if anybody here is familiar with D&D, but it's not D&D. So I can have it help me craft or develop, whatever kind of character I want. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. In summary, Gemini is amazing. I love it. And I think it's only going to get better with the time. I'm excited to see where it goes. And I mean, listen, they now have it where if you have Gemini, if you just kind of need a brief overview of a photo, you can just get it right from your phone, easy. You don't have to download, you don't have to share, nothing like that. Just do the gestures, either of your choosing, either the built-in one with the swipe down and to the right, or the or you can make a custom one as I did. And I've demoed both of those today for you. And you don't have to have it set to the 3-finger double tap. That's just what I did. But you now can get image descriptions straight from your phone, detailed image descriptions, and you only need to share a photo if you have follow-up questions or something like that, or need more information, because unfortunately it can't do that quite yet. But what's next is my question. I mean, like, that's, no other phone offers you that at the moment. Or rather no other operating system. So I'm really excited to see where it's going to go from here. So that's kind of my questions. That's the biggest items I had on the agenda for today was Gemini Live, Gemini kind of basics, and then the talkback photos. So if people would like to, I'm open to opening up to questions. And if anybody has any other things they'd like me to demo, I'm more than happy to do so.
Morgan, this is Bob. So last month you demonstrated the AI capabilities of the Meta Ray-Ban glasses.
Yes.
So which would be your go-to AI product now? Would it be Gemini or Meta?
So actually, that's a very good question. It really depends on circumstances. So for example, actually, and this is what's really fun, is last month when I was demonstrating Meta, I was actually using Gemini at the same time. So I had my glasses Bluetoothed to my phone. And when I was doing things like I sent Ryan that text message, as an example, and I did that through Gemini. I mean, I did that through my phone, but I said, hey, Google. It was actually using Gemini to send that message.
Enable.
So,
and how about when you were having it read documents or currency? Was that through Gemini?
That was Meta. That was Meta directly. Yeah,
okay.
That was Meta directly. I would recommend for documents and especially currency and things like that, I would recommend Meta, because there's no live video or anything like that on Gemini yet. You would have to like upload photos, or even still, stick with something like Seeing AI for currency if you don't have the glasses. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend trying Gemini for currencies at this time.
Okay. Ryan, do we have anybody with their hands up?
We do. Perla, you have your hand up first. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Perla, are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, we'll come back to you. Keep your hand up.
Okay, I just did it.
Yep, you got it.
Okay. Is this an app that will work on an iPhone or iPad? You said it worked on the Mac.
The website works on the Mac, and yes, so if you download the Google app on your iPhone, you can, once you sign in, you can then switch to Gemini within the Google app. So that's kind of how you would use it. I'm not 100%. Now, you can't do, like, say, hold down the power button and get access, instant access. That's still going to be Siri. Now, the other thing to keep in mind with Google Gemini is that there are different tiers, and there is a subscription through Google One. I need to verify what the what the free version gives you and what the subscription version gives you, because there are some key differences, I believe.
Okay, so if you were using it on an iPhone or an iPad, you would use it a whole different way.
Yes, you would.
Yeah. Okay. And
yeah.
Okay, and you don't know, like, to compare. So, what would be the advantages of using Gemini on an iPhone and iPad?
So I would
As
say,
opposed to the system that, as opposed to the Apple system.
right. So, I mean, I would say again, it goes really based on what is your specific use case, for making and receiving phone calls and sending text messages. Yeah, I would continue to use Siri. But if you wanted to do something, say like find a recipe, maybe go and ask Gemini on Google.
Mm-hmm. What I liked was the simplicity of getting a photo description.
Yeah, that's my favorite too. That
sounded good to me. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Hey, thanks for being there.
You're welcome.
And Morgan, tagging on to Perla's question or comment about the photo identification. So would that, or photo description, would that work the same way on an iPhone? You would be able to bring up, no. Okay.
No. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but no.
Okay. I just want to make sure Perla knew the difference on that. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, no, that is the one thing, Perla. Yeah, it's not, if you want a photo described with Gemini on the iPhone, you will have to upload the photo to Gemini. So you'd have to go into Google, switch over to Gemini, find the upload photo button, and then choose the photo you want, and then ask your question in the text box before you send it. Similar to how you would do it with ChatGPT. Unfortunately, the feature I demoed with describing photos, it is absolutely wonderful, but it is a very specific talkback feature, which is the equivalent to VoiceOver for an Android.
Thank you for clarifying that.
We've got a question from Tom. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is tagging on to the other question about the iPhone. I guess you kind of answered it. What would kind of be the competitor or something with this, the Siri and the Google app, if you were to do this with the iPhone?
What do you mean? You mean if you wanted to access Gemini on the iPhone?
Well, no, what would be the competitor, or if you're using an iPhone, what's the best way to go to get the Google app for Gemini, or?
Oh, yeah. So, okay. I think I understand. So, yes, if you're using, well, don't worry, I'll explain. So what I meant by that was, I think I understand your question. So yes, if you're using an iPhone and you want to use Gemini, you'll have to use the Google app. You download the Google app, then you're going to log into Google, and then there'll be like a switch over to Gemini button, and that's how you would get into Gemini. In terms of a competitor, as like what is the competition from, Android perspective with Google Gemini to like what does iPhone have? Siri. That's iPhone's, AI intelligence. Siri.
So Siri is there for iPhone, and then we're suggesting at this time that the Google Gemini is more advanced for doing the things that you were doing.
Yes. So at this exact moment in time, this second, I would say on an Android, Google Gemini has more capabilities than Siri on an iPhone, depending on your use case and your specific needs.
Okay, very good. Excellent presentation. I think the Google stocks went up after your presentation. Thank you.
I like it.
Thank you.
Ashley, go ahead.
You said Ashley, right?
I did. Yep, you're up.
Yeah, me. All right, yeah, that's me. Hey everyone. I had a question similar to Perla's. Yeah, I was gonna ask about the iPhone too, and iPad, but she got to it before me. I was wondering, I don't own Google products. Have thought about it. I was also wondering, can this can this um this feature, the Gemini thing, can it work on a Kindle? And I also had and if so, do you download an app to the Kindle? And then secondly, um I had a question about the PC. Like you said to, which is, you said to go to google.gemini.com or something like that. And then I just was wondering how to spell that. And do you just work with it on the website itself through your browser, or do you have to download something if you were to do this on a Windows computer? And do you know if it can do something on Windows 10, an older computer, or do you have to have a later, like 11 with a later version?
So excellent questions. I'll start with the Windows question first. So
Yeah.
it's gemini.google.com.
Oh,
And that's, Gemini, Gemini, like the zodiac sign.
like just like a
And
GEM. Okay.
right, exactly, yes. And you just need a browser. It definitely does work on Windows 10. You don't need to download anything. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
That helps.
Yes. As for the Kindle question, I actually don't know. I don't think it's available on Kindle.
I would doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I personally haven't heard anything about that. I haven't read anything about that. So I don't think so.
Uh-huh. This looks like a neat thing because it sounds like, from what you're describing, it can do things like a Google Assistant would, but it can also maybe do a little bit more in-depth questions, like almost like a research-based questions and recipes, which is both helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was also wondering, one more thing is, can okay, so then you go to the first, so you would go to the website in my case, because I'd probably use it on Windows. You would go to the website and then activate the Gemini, and then you would talk to it just like you would, and talk to it like you would another assistant,
So you can't,
Alexa or not?
like Miss A, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't do the hey Google things on the website. You do have to actually find the microphone button and press it. But I honestly speaking, and you can, there is a once you send your question, there will be listen buttons with each of the results, so you can actually hear the results if you want to. But I personally just find it easier and faster to read everything with the NVDA or JAWS or Chromebox or whatever it is.
Whatever you're using.
You're using, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I guess I was just trying to clarify. It, based on your demonstration, it seems like you can, once the button is activated, the talk button or whatever it is, but that you can speak to it back and forth, or is it one way? Like you ask a question, get a answer, and that's it.
So it depends on the method that you're using. If you're just wanting something quick, like give me directions to my house or text so-and-so, then you're going to just press and hold the power button on the Android, in this case, a Google Pixel, and speak your question and then wait for the response. If you need to follow up with that, then you would have to swipe with TalkBack to find the microphone button, double tap, and give your follow-up question. However, if you're doing something more long-winded, like Roberto had mentioned that I think it was ChatGPT, he was talking about with the voice and, doing things like whether for work or for personal, and he just sits and talks with it. So if you're doing things like, I also like writing like little stories, and so I'll use Gemini Live for that. And that's a time when I would just sit and talk with it, but I actually have to swipe to Gemini Live and activate it.
Oh, so it's like a particular mode in Gemini Live to
Yes,
actually
yes.
interact with it. Okay. I was just
Mm-hmm.
trying to clarify as I'm used to the like Lady ALEX-A device where she automatically listens and it's a, like a back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And lastly, I was wondering, um, I can you have it send any notes to your email based on your questions, because or text messages? Because I know Lady ALEXA does that if you ask it to, because and that's kind of cool because as someone who likes to have written notes down for reference later, that's helpful.
That actually is really helpful. I didn't know Alexa could do that. That is so cool. Actually, I've had Alexa since 2014. I had no clue. You learn something new every day. I believe it can, yes. This isn't a feature I have particularly tried, but I think it can. I know it can take down notes for you.
Wow.
Like
Good.
sometimes actually it's funny. I'll be writing something and it will say,
neat.
okay, I have this note in your, in your list. Let me know what you'd like to do with it. But sometimes I'm not actually trying to write a note. I'm just trying to get, a response, like let's say in addition to my story or something. So, but yeah, I think it can do that.
Oh, all right. Well, that's great to know. I guess we can, experiment and also see what it does. All right, thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. Tom, did you have your hand raised again?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, my friend.
That piqued my interest early in the beginning when you were saying something about Google Maps take me home or something. Can you just speak that? It knows where you are and gives walking or transit directions? What's the actual wording, or how do you do that if spoken?
Yeah. First off, I don't know why Google Maps take me home. The way you phrased it just made me think that should be a song. But so what I do is I will bring up Google Gemini by holding down the power button. And then I will say, direct me home, or direct me usually to insert address. And then it tends to bring up the most recent, transit mode that I've done with that. So, if I've done the bus, then it would bring up the bus. And if I've done a car, which has been more than often as of late, then it would bring up the driving directions.
Very good.
And it starts, and it, and I personally do have the audio unmuted at all times. So then you have the old Google voice, assistant voice, giving directions and all that. So I will tell you, one time I asked it, and this is just to demonstrate kind of how Google Gemini, you have to be careful. So I was going home and from work, and I asked it, I said, direct me home. Give me directions to home. Now I have my address set as my home in Maps. And it said, okay. So I'm in my Uber and I'm going home. And I noticed that the Google Maps is completely giving wrong directions. Like it is not, it's going all over and it's recalculating constantly. And I'm starting to get freaked out because I'm like, oh my goodness, where's the driver going? Like that's my first thought. And then I check my maps and notice that for some reason I said home and it's trying to take me to a Chinese restaurant. So that is why I always now say my exact address. I no longer just say home. And once I fixed that, then everything was fine, but it was interesting.
I share partially in your pain. It took me to a donut shop once, which I would like to call home.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was
And
unfair.
so then let's say that there's three directions, a left, a right, and a left to go to your house. Does it give you a cue at each point? I mean, does it give it all up front? And you'd have to
Are you talking walking or driving?
Yeah, you're walking and it's a left or right, walk a mile, make a left, walk another mile, make a right or something.
Gotcha.
Does it give it to you straight, or you have to keep re-asking, or?
So I haven't had a lot of experience walking with it.
Okay.
I'm not really an explorer. I walk where I know the routes fairly well. But in my small experiences with it, I think it does give the turns, but it won't announce like street crossings and things like that. I wish it did.
Okay.
And I
to
just want to
finish up, your
interject.
voice sounds the most clear of all the times that I've heard you, just on my end, however you're doing your setup.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's clear, like you're sitting here at a Chinese restaurant or something.
And Tom, I wanted to point out that Siri will do that for you on your iPhone. You can ask her directions to, again, whether you tell her home or whether you give her a particular address. She can actually give you turn by turn directions to get there, and those directions come out as you approach the turn that you need to make. You don't necessarily get them all up front. You get them as you go along.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. So I go to step one, and then when I'm at step one, then I ask it again to guide me?
She will, the Siri lady will advise you automatically as you get to the place that you're supposed to turn. Once you ask her for directions to some place, it's staying live on your phone, and it will keep giving you the turn by turn directions. You don't have to interact with it again.
Okay, Google, you're fired.
Well, and Morgan, I know you follow a lot of what's going on with Glide, and I'm just wondering if you have any idea on how Gemini might interact with Glide.
No, I have absolutely no idea. I attended a webinar hosted by them about a week ago, and there's some new things with it. There's some new, voice commands and or not commands, but voice outputs, and it will tell you when you're approaching a street, but it won't tell you the street crossing. It just says street ahead, street to the right, sidewalk to the left. And I did raise a point about, because right now if you have to go up the stairs or down the stairs, you have to actually carry it, which I'd mentioned might not be good for some people. But in terms of GPS, I have no idea.
Okay, thanks.
Deborah, I see that you have your hand raised.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I ride several different kind of ride shares, Uber and Lyft. I also use paratransit, and I use microtransit quite a bit, usually Hopper in Cupertino. And one of the issues I've had is if I'm at a place where there's a lot of cars coming and going, like my employer, there's a lot of cars coming and going, I really have trouble finding my vehicle. And I'm wondering if with all the different AI things you've used, is there anything that has helped you find your vehicle? And I'll go back on mute.
No. And I also wouldn't recommend using AI at this moment to find your vehicle. AI is still, I will, and I've said this before and I will continue to say it, it's wonderful, it's fun, it's becoming more useful, but it's still in early stages. Everything is still constantly being under development, and it still can get things wrong. So you might ask it, and there's no video feed either at the moment. So there's no way to, say, hey, look for a blue car with this ID. And even if there was, it might say, oh, okay, there's a blue car 3 feet ahead. But what if it's the wrong license plate number? Then you're just going and opening somebody's car. Which I have done in my day. I have accidentally opened somebody's car when trying to get into an Uber. Not a proud moment. Many years ago. But yeah, so no, there's nothing out there yet that I would say is good enough to use for that, unfortunately. If you do need help with that, and I'm sure you've probably thought about this, but you can use Ira to help you find your car.
I have a follow-up question to that. So if you have the Lyft app on your phone, it will not guide you to the ride? I mean, because I know on the map it shows you like where the vehicle is and as it's approaching, but say once it's parked somewhere, would the Lyft app guide you to the vehicle? I don't know.
No, it will not.
Okay.
It will just say your driver is here, and then you can message your driver or call your driver if you need help. And this is something also, just since we're on the topic, I know it's not directly related to Gemini, but I just wanted to put in my 2 cents here for anybody that might have it available to them. Uber has an option in some markets. So I want to make that very clear that it's not available everywhere. It's called Uber Assist, and it is an option that I have started to take more and more frequently. Drivers under this option have a little more extra training when it comes to working with people with disabilities. And so the downside is that your wait time is going to be a little longer. Like, instead of being able to get a ride maybe within 5 minutes, you might have to wait 10, 15 minutes. And what I do is I always just request, maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes before I'm actually ready to leave. And that way, when I am, my ride is here, where I am. I message the driver. I always indicate that I am blind and I have a cane. If they could please, come out of the vehicle or speak out when they approach, it would be very helpful. They have always read the message. I've even had drivers tell me that assist drivers are more likely to read the message than regular Uber X drivers. It's the same price as an Uber X, and you get a little extra assistance and a little reassurance. And I think the trade-off for waiting a couple extra minutes and having that peace of mind, to me, is worth it. Unfortunately, Lyft does not have a comparable option.
Tom, go ahead.
Yeah, if I could tag onto that one, in the past I have written a message to the driver and call them. You can't call them because they're driving, and many times they find they don't read it. Because I would say black briefcase, brown jacket, or whatever. So something that's totally helped me is I just stand at a different spot away from other people, because otherwise they say the Toyota Corolla, this face, this license plate, which doesn't help me. So I just stand in a completely different place away from other people, so I'd be the only one there, if that helps on any level for them to find.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea.
Thanks for the tip, Tom. At this time, there aren't any more hands raised. I'll go ahead and pass it back to you, Bob.
Okay. Morgan, do you have any final thoughts or final comments on Gemini that you want to close with?
I would just say right now that, Gemini, like I've said, it's really changing the game, I feel like, and I'm just really excited to see where it's going to go. And now, I used to not use Gemini. I used to be ChatGPT. I used to be, other products to be my AI. And I still use those from time to time. Like I said, there's still a place for them, especially Be My AI. I do find myself using that if I need, to ask follow-up questions, because you can't with Gemini right now on a picture. But otherwise, I find myself just using Gemini for everything and anything, even things I didn't think I would. So,
Well, great. Thank you so much, Morgan. Your presentations are always very informative, and we get the sort of the real world experiences from you on all the products. And I know a lot of folks really appreciate that. So thank you so much for joining us today. And again, thank you everybody for all the great Tech It Outs we've done over the years. And don't forget, sign up for Site Tech Global. It's going to be really exciting. And we'll see you all next year on, as Ryan's calling it, the reboot of Check It Out with Vista. So thank you everybody for joining us today.